Today we are testing many of the attachments for the MAC-10, so you could build the best MAC-10 possible based off the numbers. Today's video is going to serve as a part 1 of 2, and we're going to be focusing on testing out the magazines, the suppressors, and the barrels, because I really want to know if the fast mag is actually fast. And spoiler alert, it's not that fast. Next time we're going to be going over the grips, the lasers, the wraps, and the stocks. So make sure to subscribe to stay tuned for that. And if you're new here, welcome. My name's Assassin. I bring you guides, tips and tricks, news and updates, and go in depth into many of the topics in the game. I know there are a bunch of hidden benefits for the attachments and negatives, so if I don't mention something in the video about one of the attachments we're looking at, please let me know down in the comments below. The important thing here is that everyone who watches this video leaves with having the best knowledge possible. And with that out of the way, let's talk about what magazine is best to use. And there are really only two viable options here, the 53 round standard mag and the fast version. I'm going to be testing out ADS and reload speed for both. To test the ADS speed, I started counting frames from the time the hipfire reticle started to get smaller until we were fully zoomed in. Now there were some times where the screen kept zooming in by a little bit. It was only like a 1 pixel increase to the zoom, so I didn't count those frames because at that point you're going to be fully in control of your aim anyways. So for my testing here, I'm going to go frame by frame really slow, and you could actually see that the standard version of the mag ADS is about 2 frames faster. This for me is enough to pick it over the fast mag. But what about the reload speed? How much faster is the fast mag? And the way I tested reload speed is that I started counting frames from the time the hipfire reticle disappeared until the magazine count was full. And I tested this both for tactical reloads as well as an empty reload. And from the results on screen, you can see that with the fast mag, your tactical reload is 1 frame faster and 2 frames faster when reloading from an empty clip. So there is a clear winner here, the standard version of the mag. Told you guys, the fast mag isn't really fast. And things are just going to get a little bit crazier once we get to the barrels. But first, let's talk about the suppressors. You need to stay hidden in Warzone. You know, that's just a fact. So I'm not going to be testing the other muzzles. So now let's take a look at that standard suppressor and the agency suppressor. And we're going to start by testing the damage range. For this test, I loaded up Battle Royale practice mode, looted up, got my loadout, chased bots around until they stood still, and then tiptoed in and out of meter ranges and took a shot and checked how much damage I did in the menu. Now this is a very painful process, but it is one that I endured for you guys. And to give one example of this test, I'm using the base version of the MAC-10 here with no attachments, and I wanted to test the first damage drop off point, which is supposed to happen at 15.5 meters. So here you can see me take a shot at 15 meters and I do 20 damage, which is not the full damage. And as you can see, once I start backing off, it goes up to 16 meters really quick. So you can kind of guess that I'm kind of past that 15.5 meter mark. Now here I'm tiptoeing into the 15 meter mark from 14 meters. And when I take a shot, I do 25 damage. So what this means is that the damage drop off does happen at 15.5 meters. And this is how I tested every damage drop off point for every suppressor and every barrel. And I'm going to be giving you the results in terms of a percentage. For example, when you use the agency suppressor, your first damage drop-off point happens at 16.5 meters, which is 1 meter more than the base version of the MAC-10. It means you get a 6.5% increase to your damage range. And as for the standard suppressor, you actually get a 9.5% decrease to your damage range. As for bullet velocity, I decided to do this test by loading up plunder, finding a vehicle that spawns on the map, took shots at it, then I counted how many frames it took from the time the bullet left my magazine until I got a hit marker. And all my tests are done at 60 FPS by the way, so there is going to be a little bit of frame rounding, but I did these tests many times to make sure that I got you the most consistent numbers. Also, I'm not going to be talking about this data in terms of bullet velocity, but instead frames to hit. And then again, I'm going to be converting that number into a percentage so you know how much an attachment helps or hurts the weapon. So with that in mind, from 260 meters away, the MAC-10 with no attachments takes 31 frames to hit. When using the agency suppressor, it takes 34 frames to hit, which is a 9.67% decrease to your bullet velocity. And when using the sound suppressor, it actually takes 31 frames to hit, so the same as the base version of the MAC-10 with no attachments. So the clear winner of this category is the sound suppressor because it doesn't negatively affect your bullet velocity like the agency suppressor does. Now when we compare the ADS speed, it seems that these two also ADS at the same time at 9 frames. And when you look at all the categories combined, ADS speed, bullet velocity, and damage range, you're always going to want to go with the agency suppressor. And although the agency suppressor's description says that it reduces ADS speed, it's nothing that you're going to notice, so you shouldn't let it affect your decisions. Lastly, let's finish off with the barrels. The common thought is that for all Cold War weapons, you're going to be wanting to maximize bullet velocity because it allows you to hit your targets a lot more consistently at range, meaning you don't have to lead your shots as much. But this is much less important when we're talking about an SMG because you are going to be fighting with that weapon at ranges where bullet velocity doesn't really come into play. So if we're not going to be maximizing bullet velocity, what is the most important thing to do? Well, why not have a flat damage increase across all ranges? And the only barrel that gives you this is the 5.9-inch Task Force barrel. So with that said, that's going to bring us to the end of the video. Oh wait, of course the barrel that states that gives you a damage boost doesn't.
You little liar.
So we don't have a clear winner yet. We're going to be testing damage range, bullet velocity, ADS speed, and any unique benefits the attachment has. So now let's take a look at some of these results. Again, for reference, the base version of the MAC-10 ADS is at 9 frames. When using that extended barrel, it actually slows your ADS speed, which is expected by all the barrels really, to 11 frames. The Cavalry gives you the same thing, an ADS speed of 11 frames. Then the reinforced barrel doesn't hurt you as much and you could fully ADS within 10 frames. Now this is really good. The Ranger barrel doesn't decrease your ADS speed at all. It doesn't help you, but it doesn't hurt you in this department. The rifle barrel, like most other barrels, it slows down your ADS to 11 frames, and the Task Force barrel, just like the Ranger barrel, doesn't hurt your ADS speed at all, and you're going to be able to reach full ADS at 9 frames. So when we're only talking about ADS speed, it's obvious that the Task Force and the Ranger barrel take the top spot here, but the reinforced barrel is not far behind. Now let's move on to bullet velocity. As we go through these tests, I'm going to be talking about frames to hit, but at the end of it, I will convert everything into a percentage, so it will be easier for you guys to see and compare. For reference, the base version of the MAC-10 takes 31 frames to hit. When you throw on that extended barrel, it actually does increase your bullet velocity and takes 23 frames to hit. When using the Cavalry barrel, it actually decreases your bullet velocity by 1 frame. However, when you throw on the reinforced barrel, spoiler alert, the reinforced barrel is the best barrel in terms of bullet velocity because you're able to hit in 13 frames. That's more than double the bullet velocity. Next, the Ranger barrel is still not far behind and it is more than double as well. It takes 15 frames to hit. Now we go to the barrel with the slowest bullet velocity, and that's the rifle barrel, and it takes 34 frames to hit. And again, we're going to be ending off with the Task Force barrel, which has 17 frames to hit, which is not bad at all. Now I'm going to be converting these frames to hit into percentages, and you're going to be seeing them on screen. And from here, we have a clear pecking order for the top 3: the reinforced barrel, the Ranger barrel, and the Task Force barrel. Now onto damage range. We get a 3.25% boost with the reinforced barrel, a 6.5% boost with the rifled barrel, and a huge 45% boost with the Task Force barrel. So when it comes to damage range, there is no competition. The Task Force barrel kills it. So when looking at all these numbers, for me, the 2 frames of faster ADS, the 45% boost in bullet velocity, and the 45% boost in damage range with the Task Force barrel, that just wins for me. Although it's not the barrel that gives you the fastest bullet velocity, it still doesn't trail far behind the ones that do. With that said, there is one negative that the Task Force barrel has that the other barrels don't, and that's an increase to the recoil. So I decided to test that out. And it does seem that there is an ever so slightly increase to the recoil, but it's nothing too noticeable, and it's definitely nothing that should be influencing your decision making. For me, the Task Force barrel is the clear winner. Again, next time we're going to be covering the wraps, the stocks, the grips, and the lasers. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you learned anything new, hit that like button please. It is much appreciated. Let me know if there's anything else you would have liked me to test on the attachments we tested today. Beyond what I'm planning to cover on the next video, are there any other attachments you want me to test out? And again, let me know if there are hidden or negative benefits that I did not discuss today. We all need to know. My name is Assassin, and thanks for stopping by.